Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, Premier League football is back. No longer do I have to sit still and watch England stuff 10 goals past the goalkeeper who sells stamps on the post office. Premier League football is back. Alright, so sit still and watch me predict every single match right. Right, let's go. Leicester versus Chelsea. Alright, so I'm guessing most of you will have probably spent the last 10 days feeling like you just swallowed a toaster. I mean, many of you like the international break, the same way you like to have hair ripped off your scalp. But lads, spare a thought for Frank Lampard this weekend. In his head, this weekend would and should have marked a return to the Premier League dugout. I mean, let's not forget, last week he interviewed for both Norwich and Aston Villa and didn't get either job. And now he gets to sit in his London flat with one hand stuffed on a tube of Pringles and the other repeatedly punching himself in the scrotum to see if he can still feel pain, watching Chelsea visit Leicester. You know, the fixture which cost him his job in January? ESPN says that he's keeping an eye on the Leicester job. Okay, Frank, that's the equivalent of me waiting for a phone call from NASA. But anyway, as for the game itself, Chelsea haven't won a Premier League match at this stadium since September 2017, back when Harry Maguire was tasked with marking the human mannequin that was Alvaro Morata, and he miserably failed. But listen, Leicester City are in pretty rancid form. Dean Smith lost his Villa job because of the entire calendar year of 2021, right? Well, since beating Sheffield United 5-0 in mid-March, Leicester have lost 9 Premier League matches, drawing 4 and winning just 8. Since April, this team has conceded 45 goals. Rodgers must be this close to chewing on his own armpit flab. I'm sorry, but Chelsea are winning this match pretty comfortably. I'll go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. Aston Villa versus Brighton. So you'd imagine Villa Park will be utterly rocking to have football royalty like Steven Gerrard standing in the dugout, right? Now listen, don't get me wrong, Villa fans would gladly bite off their own ear to even get a 35-year-old Stevie G in a Villa shirt. But as a manager, he's done well at Rangers, yes. But he's coached less than 200 career games and not a single one in English football pyramid. Listen, both these teams are in pretty rotten form. Villa have lost their last 5 league games while Brighton haven't won any of the last 6. Graham Potter, everyone. This is a Villa squad whose confidence is currently coating the toilet walls. Christ above, the players look like they're pining for Jack Grealish so much, it's where he used to breastfeed them in the bath. Listen, Spanish goalie Robert Sanchez is suspended for Brighton, so they're gonna have to give a Premier League debut to Jason Steele. Yeah, you might remember this hamburger goalie from Netflix Sunderland Till I Die, where he showed the world that he's got the technique and skill of a broken toilet seat. And guess what? This man hasn't played a single game of league football since May 2018, in a season where Sunderland were relegated to League 1. I'm sorry, but Anwar Al-Ghazi shoot on sight. The man's got wrists made of marmalade. I'm sure Potter's probably gonna spend tonight choking on his own wife's lasagna. Steele in goal. Oh, it's a scary, scary thought. You know what? I'm gonna go for a pretty hectic, chaotic 3-3 draw, where Villa will keep chucking away the lead like an epileptic dog walker. I'm pretty sure come 5 PM, Steven Gerrard is gonna walk into the Villa dressing room and probably throw his lunch at Matt Targett's face. By the way, let's try to 600,000 subscribers as soon as possible. If you're new here and you're not yet subscribed, then what are you waiting for? Join the journey and slap that big red button in the teeth. You would be the greatest legend on the planet. Anyway, back into the video. Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Listen, Patrick Vieira has already enjoyed the glamour ties in football management, but now, visiting Turf Moor, a stadium which mostly smells like a septic tank, preparing his defenders for an afternoon of getting elbowed in the teeth and drinking their own blood. Vieira, this is your proper taste of English football. I mean, to be fair, both these teams have played out a combined 11 Premier League draws this season, so clearly this is going to be another one. To be fair, Burnley have picked up over the last month, scoring 6 times in 3 games against Southampton, Brentford and Chelsea. The Burnley fans must be keeling over in excitement. But here I'll go for a pretty scrappy 0-0 draw. I mean, Palace will dominate possession with about 60% of the ball, but no, Sean Dyche's men will dig in, grind out a point, and yeah, last on match of the day, Newcastle versus Brentford. Eddie Howe couldn't have asked for a much better first game in charge of Newcastle. I'm sorry, but Brentford are an utter free fall, and if they lose this match, that will be 5 Premier League defeats in a row. 2 months ago, Thomas Frank was being hailed as another managerial genius, but if he watches his Brentford team get slapped around like a piñata made of eggshells at Newcastle, getting tactically outthought by a man who just spent the last 18 months sitting on his couch watching Home and Away over lunch, oh, then honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Brentford push the panic button and swap him for maybe Frank Lampard? Sacking Frank to bring in another Frank? It might sound ridiculous, but lads, 5 defeats in a row is scary. And they're travelling to a ground they haven't won at since 1934, when they stuck 5 goals past Newcastle in Division 2. Make no mistake about it, Brentford are under pressure. Visiting a vibrant St James's Park atmosphere, welcoming Eddie Howe. I mean, yes, at the time I thought this man was a bit of an underwhelming appointment, but the Newcastle fans seem to be happy with him.
Oh my god, 11 hours of waiting for Eddie Howe paid off. I can finally go home.
11 hours of waiting for Eddie Howe. What?
No, he's on his way out. Will he stop for the fans? God, I hope he does. We'll find out. 12 hours of waiting. Will it be worth it in the end? Oh, you gotta be winding me up. Oh, good. He actually drove past. He's actually come back down. I can't believe it. He's went to the top and then he's just changed his mind. He's come back down. Oh my god, it's actually happening. Eddie Howe is stopping for the fans. Oh my god, this has got to be the greatest thing ever.
11 hours and Eddie Howe nearly drove past and went home. Commitment to see the guy who once sacked at Burnley. But yeah, Brentford are going to be blown away. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Newcastle win. And yeah, by Wednesday next week, we're going to see Lampard holding up a Brentford scarf. Just you wait and see. Norwich versus Southampton. Yeah. Dean Smith clearly hates his wife. You would think, after being out of work for the first time since July 2009, you think he might, I don't know, spend a few weeks traveling around the country in a caravan, or taking his wife to Paris, or just catching up on some Netflix. Just anything. Take a break. Switch your mind off football. But no, instead, just 48 hours after losing his Villa job, the man then stuffs himself in the attic, having a Zoom chat with Norwich Chiefs. Honestly, I just feel bad for his wife. When she heard on the radio that he'd been sacked, she was probably already whipping out the picnic blanket and booking a 2-week stay in the Cotswolds. No. She's lucky if she even gets breakfast in bed. Listen, Dean Smith is a good manager. This is a sensible appointment for Norwich. But honestly, he's just gonna have his CV chewed apart by relegation.
Oh, but nobody's gonna blame him for relegation, so it's fine.
Ah, really? Tell that to Sam Allardyce. I mean, it wasn't really his fault that West Brom went down last season, but has anyone bothered to pick up the phone and offer him a job? Even when Rafa Benitez unfairly went down with Newcastle in 2016, I don't really remember anyone offering him a job that summer. And that was Rafa Benitez. Smith says Norwich can beat relegation. No. I get that they're stuck on 5 points the same as Newcastle, but it's a very different 5 points. Because in January, Newcastle could go out and sign Aaron Ramsey. Norwich will be lucky if they can afford new cutlery for the canteen. This is a massive and desperate career gamble from Smith. Why didn't he just take a few weeks? Wait, you might get an ambitious championship job. Or maybe wait till March and you could get a gig at Southampton. This is going to be a pretty anticlimactic 1-0 Southampton win with Norwich fluffing about 6 goal scoring chances. It's going to be painful. Watford versus Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be nervously shuffling around in his seat. Travelling to Vicarage Road, oh, it sounds straightforward, right? But the last time you visited this ground, you lost 2-0 in one of those games where David De Gea showed the flexibility of Susan Boyle. But the good news is that Solskjaer has faced Claudio Ranieri as a manager, utterly sweeping Fulham apart 3-0 at Craven Cottage. Honestly, I'm convinced Ranieri is losing his Watford job before Christmas. Because aside from a mental 12 minutes at Goodison Park, where they somehow scored 4 times, what has actually improved at this club? Aside from that ridiculous match, Watford haven't scored in any of Ranieri's other 4 games in charge, conceding 8 goals without putting a single point on the board. I'm sorry, but just like at Fulham, he is a dead man walking. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sacked this Monday morning. And Man United do play better when they play away from Old Trafford. They'll set up in a 3-5-2 formation again. Ronaldo will come back from the international break angry, having been laughably dumped in the playoffs. And yeah, he's going to take it on Ben Foster. He's going to score a hat-trick. Man United are going to win 4-0. Honestly, this is going to be an utter walk in the park.
Oh, Irish guy said we will win. Now I'm really nervous.
Relax, lads. You're not stuck in a dentist chair, and I'm not stood over you with a pair of scissors in my hand. Even if I am a jinx or a curse, even that won't stop me from winning this match. It is a formality. Honestly, Watford are getting utterly demolished. You can thank me on Monday morning. Wolves versus West Ham. Last season, West Ham smashed 7 goals past Wolves. Bruno Lage will have probably watched those tapes, and again, most likely had a clean sweat off his face. But weirdly, before last season, West Ham hadn't scored a Premier League goal against Wolves since January 2011. But anyway, yes, Wolves have improved slightly this season, but let's be honest, 4 wins by just 1 goal? This club have been coasting on a huge chunk of luck. West Ham, on the other hand, are 3rd in the goddamn league. Sorry lads, I'm going to go for a 3-0 Hammers win. They're going to blow Wolves out of the water. Liverpool versus Arsenal. So I guess this is where Mikel Arteta's good run ends. Arsenal haven't won a Premier League match at Anfield since September 2012. That is the entire of Raheem Sterling's career. Since that day, Arsenal have conceded 33 goals in that stadium. That is complete horse toast. It's hideous, an utterly rotten run of form. As a former Everton player, I'm sure Arteta would love an Anfield win, but it's not happening. Yes, I know Arsenal are 8 games unbeaten in the league, but let's not get carried away. There were 1-0 wins over Norwich, Burnley and Watford. I mean, come on. Sorry, but Liverpool are bouncing back from that West Ham horror show to utterly chew Arsenal to shreds. Ibrahim Konate will go back into the back 4, and yeah, 4-0 Liverpool win. Man City versus Everton. Remember when Everton used to be Man City's bogey team? At the start of the takeover regime, the first 10 matches City played against Everton, whilst being the richest club on the planet, the Toffees won 7 times, including 4 in a row. Even in Pep Guardiola's debut season at City, he travelled to Goodison Park and wound up being utterly walloped by 4-0. But he hasn't lost to them since. In fact, it's been 8 consecutive wins. Since that day, nearly 5 years ago, Everton haven't even managed more than 1 goal in a single match against Man City. They've been utterly neutered like a cat with leprosy. Christ above, in Carlo Ancelotti's last game in charge, they were spanked 5-0 at the Etihad, so yeah. Everton haven't won a game in nearly 2 months, so this stale Toffees team are going to be spanked 4-1 with Andros Townsend banging in another Etihad wonder goal. Honestly, Jordan Pickford this weekend, if he reads the papers, he'll see that Antonio Conte is apparently sniffing around his face. I'm guessing after this game, where Pickford will drop an absolute clanger, I don't think Conte is going to be looking at him anymore. Tottenham versus Leeds. You would think Harry Kane would be in the mood for this match after 7 goals at an international break. But even against this chaotic Leeds defence, it's still a much bigger step up in quality than the potato sandwich goalies he was coming up against. Listen, Antonio Conte versus Marcelo Bielsa is a mouth-watering managerial matchup, but I'm sorry. Leeds this season are an inconsistent pudding, and they've lost their greatest strength. They've forgotten how to score goals. I'm going to go for a pretty dour 1-0 win with someone pretty unfashionable like Harry Winks banging in the goal from a corner. But yeah, it's going to be a game so boring, you're going to feel like ripping out your own eyes. Anyway, that's the middle. Let me know what do you think, alright? Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.